Mexico's Tren Maya is an impressive 1,554-kilometer train route that circles the Yucatan Peninsula. In this series, we take you with us as we explore the entire route. From amazing archaeological sites, crystal clear lakes, amazing beaches, colorful colonial towns, magical cenotes, and delicious local foods, we experience it all.
Welcome to the Pueblo Mágico of Valladolid. We're going to be spending the next week here, and we'll take you along as we explore the surrounding archaeological zones, cenotes, and conventos. Stay tuned to the end and we'll give you a full cost breakdown as well as the tour of our Airbnb.
So today is our first full day exploring Valladolid, and we arrived yesterday and we went over and got something to eat at Atrio in the main Zocalo.
It is a very well-known restaurant for a lot of local specialties. The food was pretty good. We both got some really great cocktails. Mine had strawberry and watermelon as well as mezcal. I think yours actually had a red pepper in it. It was a spicy margarita. Then I got the local plate, which had cochinita pibil tacos. It had the longaniza sausage as well as pak chuk. You ended up getting the beef pibil, which was really kind of interesting, and it was served in kind of a broth, but the meat somehow inside was a little dry. The patio area was beautiful, and we actually had some little turtle friends under the table. But overall, I do think it was maybe slightly expensive for what we got. This morning, our first stop is going to be to get some brunch, and then it is going to be to check out the ex-convento behind us. Wow, that brunch was excellent. I started with the fresa y albahaca agua, which is strawberry and basil. It was freshly made and super delicious.
Got the yerba buena and pepino, which is basically like a mint and cucumber drink. It was very good.
Then I got the eggs benedict, which they made with chaya, which chaya is a local green. I would compare it to kale, but their hollandaise sauce was fantastic, and the hash brown potatoes were super crispy.
And then I had the huevos suizos, which was kind of like a eggs benedict but without the hollandaise sauce, and I also got the papas. And
everything was for a really great price, so highly recommend that place. But now we're going to go check out the ex-convento.
When you first enter the convento, there's a small museum. Then you can wander the halls and check out the church before heading outside to explore the grounds. Okay, so it was 80 pesos for us both to get in here. Construction on this ex-convento finished in 1560, and one of the most interesting things about this is that it was built on top of a cenote. Yeah, they used the cenote to provide fresh water for the convent as well as the garden, and a few years back they actually went down into the cenote and they were able to pull up relics that had been preserved by the fresh water. So that was pretty cool. The museum itself was pretty small, but we did learn that at night they do a light show projected on the side of the building. Supposedly it happens every day except for Monday. They do it Spanish presentation at 9 and then English at 9:25 or 9:30. So I think we're going to try to come back tonight and check that out. So one last interesting fact about this ex-convento is they still use it as the local church, and there's a superstition that since it was built on a cenote on a Good Friday, the whole thing is going to collapse into the cenote, and the people here are so superstitious about it that they actually hold service on Good Friday out in the yard instead of inside the church. So now we're going to go down Calzada de los Frailes, and check out this really pretty street.
Yeah, it's supposed to be the most colorful and beautiful street in all of Valladolid.
All right, so we went home and I got some video editing done, and Georgia got some Airbnbs and hotels booked.
So now we've come back out for dinner. We definitely need to get something to eat before we head over to that light show.
So I've started out with the artisanal stout, and Georgia got a drink. What's your drink?
So this is the Jamaica Fizz, which is agua de Jamaica, vino de Jamaica, which is a liquor they make in-house, and then ginger ale and lime.
So all these seafood restaurants, they bring you a little bitty shot of like a seafood soup. We ordered a couple taco samplers, and the soft shell crab taco was definitely the winner.
Has been the home of the Mayan people in Central America. Francisco de Montero and his army of Spanish men arrived to conquer. On behalf of the Spanish crown, the city was refounded under the name of Valladolid. The friars became so powerful that the trustees of the king set the convent on fire twice.
Today we drove about 30 minutes to the archaeological zone of Ek Balam, and the entrance here is a little bit different.
Yeah, so when you first turn on the road, you get flagged down and you have to register there. You don't actually pay anything. And then a little bit further down is a stop where you have to pay 100 pesos for parking, and that's for everyone. Then you actually pull into the site and park, and when you come up to the ticket counter, there's actually two of them. At the first one's the actual normal like INAH ticket counter. So it's 95 pesos for everyone, except for, of course, residents and nationals on Sunday. And then at that counter, you also pay 50 pesos if you want to record. Then there's the second counter, and that's where the discount really comes in. If you're a resident or a Mexican national, you only pay 121 pesos. But if you're a foreigner, you pay 411 pesos. So this place is quite pricey. So we're gonna go check it out and see if it's worth it. So at that first check-in point, the guy that checked us in told us that we should go directly to the Acropolis because it gets busy, very busy during peak times. And it is really cool that you still get to climb up it. The top area is very small though, so I could see where it could get quite crowded, but the view is fantastic.
That same guy also told me that it wasn't worth it to get a guide. And I looked at the prices for him. For Spanish, it's 600 pesos, and for English, it's 800 pesos.
So just something to know. Well, we waited, and for a brief moment, we have the top all to ourselves.
So we got up nice and early and got to the site about 9 a.m., but it was still pretty busy and the parking lot was pretty full. The reason we got here so early, aside from trying to beat some of the crowds, is also that it's supposed to get to 91 degrees today, and it's already pretty hot.
Yeah, and keep in mind, this is the end of January, so this is the cool season. I cannot imagine trying to do this in like July or August. I would be melting. One thing that we did learn about this site is that it's believed to have been inhabited starting as far back as 300 BC, but the peak of this society was around 700 or 800 AD, and then there are some things that say that it was abandoned around 1200, and other people say that it was inhabited up till the Spanish came, so not sure on that one.
All right, so we just finished up the site. It took us about an hour. It was a little smaller than we thought it would be. And some of the structures that were there, the bigger structures, were not even uncovered yet.
Yeah, we were able to get through it pretty quick. I don't know if it's really worth the money. It definitely wasn't one of our favorite sites, and for how high the admission is, I don't know. After watching a Gringos R Us video, they came to this restaurant, which is Restaurante Ahumados, and the smoked meat platter they got looked absolutely delicious. So even though it's only 11 a.m., we're gonna go see if we can get some beers and some meat.
If you decide to stop by this restaurant, we highly recommend you bring your bathing suit. Their pool is beautiful and free to use as a customer. So we did this. This is the Platon Ahumada, and it has a bunch of meat things on it, and this is what was recommended by the Gringos R Us.
Well, this is the aftermath. We almost made it through the platter of meat for 4 or 5 people. Very close.
So here in Centro Valladolid, during the afternoon and evening hours, you'll see a bunch of tour buses around Centro here because all the tourists from Playa del Carmen and Cancun go to Chichen Itza and then come here to real Mexico to check it out.
So there are tons of food stalls around. Most of them are selling marquesitas, ice cream, and elotes. They all seem to accept US dollars as well as pesos, even though none of the restaurants or bars or anything else in town accepts dollars. And that is just because of that influx. But the square is quite popular with locals too, especially in the evening. And I think it's most popular with birds. There are, I would say, thousands of birds up in the trees. It is extremely loud with just squawking of birds.
So first thing we had to do was go check out the church, of course, and then after that we went and got 2 cones of coconut ice cream.
It was super good. Even the cone was homemade.
Yeah.
And those were just, what, 30 pesos each?
Yep.
So really good deal. But then after that, we heard some drums. So we headed to right in front of the main fountain, and there was like a little Maya dance group that put on a really cool dance performance. But my favorite part was that they actually showed how the ball game was played. So that was really, really neat. I think we're going to walk around a little bit more, but the birds are getting louder and louder by the minute.
This morning, we are really excited to actually be going to our very first cenote. Despite how long we've been in Mexico, we have never visited one before. And here in Valladolid, they have Cenote Zaci, which is actually located like very close to the center of town, so it's very easily walkable.
And this cenote also has a restaurant on top of the cenote. And the depth of this cenote is between 30 meters at the shallowest and over 100 meters at its deepest.
So I'm very excited to go check this place out. Let's see.
So the entrance into the cenote is only 30 pesos per person, but they require you to have a life jacket, which you can rent for another 30 pesos, so really it's 60 pesos per person.
Unless you just want to come and take pictures and you don't want to actually swim. The cenote water is nowhere near as cold as I thought. I've seen so many videos where people like absolutely like, oh my god, it's icy. No, I mean, it's definitely refreshing, but it's completely manageable. They have a bunch of jumping platforms. The only kind of downside I'd say is that they limit your time to an hour. So like our wristbands say 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. But I think after that we're going to go check out the restaurant on property, which has like 4.5 stars and it supposedly has a bunch of local food. Another thing to know about the cenotes is that you should not wear any sunscreen, makeup, or hair products. So you can see I am missing my signature eye makeup right now.
This is one of the diving platforms. And Geronimo. Agua de longaniza comes with fresh handmade tortillas, and Georgia got the cochinita pibil. The cochinita pibil at Restaurante Zaci was absolutely delicious, and their prices were quite reasonable as well. We headed back into town that night, making our way past all the tour buses to eat dinner at the rooftop restaurant Don Diablo's. Here, the cocktails and service were fantastic, but the food was just okay, especially for the price.
So this was our Airbnb for the past week here in Valladolid. As you can see, there's quite a bit of parking out front, and then you come down this little walkway, and there are 3 identical apartments. Ours was number 2. You can see we have a small little couch here with a table. There's no TV in here, so we didn't really use that space. There's a little bar top here, which we used as the dining room. They did include a Garrafone and a new sponge and soap, so that was nice. You can see the kitchen's small, but it was sufficient, and we did have a little 1-burner thing here that heated up super fast. Through this door is the one and only bedroom. So you had 2 nightstands with lamps and good room darkening shades. We liked that. That AC was very strong and kept up. I had a great little space here to do my makeup, and David had a separate space to do his editing work, which was awesome. We also had a full-length mirror, which again is so nice to have in an Airbnb. And then here was the little closet. And then here was the bathroom. It was very clean and in an excellent location. We really liked it. It was a great deal.
The best meals we had in Valladolid were brunch at Yerba Buena del Sisal, the seafood tacos at Tostaquera del Mar, and the cochinita pibil at Restaurante Zaci. We also enjoyed Los Ahumados after visiting Ek Balam, and our favorite meal of all was at Tia de Cava after visiting Chichen Itza. The best things to do in Valladolid are to catch one of the Mayan performances in the main square in the evenings, to check out the light show at the ex-convento at night, and take a refreshing dip at Cenote Zaci in the center of town. For day trips, of course, we recommend visiting Chichen Itza as well as the ruins of Coba.
That cute Airbnb set us back $381 for 7 nights. We spent $162 on transportation, $114 on entertainment, $613 at restaurants, just $31 on groceries, and $24 on personal care. That brings our grand total to $1,325, or just $189 per day. Thanks for watching, and as always, if you have any questions, comments, or suggestions, please leave them down below. If you haven't already, check out last week's video where we visit Coba, Chichen Itza, and the Pink Lakes of Las Coloradas.